and welcome to the For Our Empire podcast. I'm your host, Abby Ngauche, and in this podcast, we address the personal and the business issues that female entrepreneurs face in their daily lives. My guest today is a lovely Irina. Hi, Irina.
Hi.
Hi. So,
Hi.
Irina is a mindset coach. She helps women in careers, women in business change their careers, right? Yes. And
Yes.
yeah. And then she helps women start their business in 100 days. I got that part right as well.
Absolutely. Yes, you got it. We are all good there. Okay. So
So,
let me take it from here. And if you don't
yes.
mind, I can develop a little bit
Yes,
on
yes,
this.
please.
And I think like for everybody, what you do links back to who you are and what you've lived up to date, right?
Yes.
And I think for all women, this is a very significant aspect. And I think because as women, we perceive life in a different way. We are special, right?
Yeah.
And we need to account for that in everything we do because we want to be represented in what we do. So my story goes very quickly. I was born in Eastern Europe during communist times. And at the age of 16, the big revolution, came about and everything changed. And then at the age of 25, I immigrated to Canada, which, surprise, surprise, was actually French Canada. Like everybody around me, by the way, speaks French. My kids go to French school. And that was a double challenge because
Yeah.
I would only know how to speak Romanian, nothing else. So at the age of 25, I came here. I did not know one word of anything.
Just me.
And
Like, yes, that's the only French you
yeah,
knew.
I actually, you're right. I knew yes and no. And everything was so new because it's all different, and I keep on crossing the street is a challenge at some point. You need to go do your papers. You have no idea how to take the bus, where to buy your ticket and all that.
Oh.
And after that, actually, I major efforts. I got into an MBA program. So I did my MBA, and it was really hard because of the language. Again, this is not
Yes,
something that
yes,
you
yes,
acquire
yes.
overnight. And I went into business. And I worked for 20 years in all kinds of companies,
Yeah.
small companies and large corporations. And I did forecasting, budgeting, all that stuff. I love numbers, by the way. So I love numbers and I love planning and all that stuff. I feel like home when I see numbers. Yeah, exactly. And you know what happened at some point? I just felt like, it's been 20 years, but it's not me. I felt like I really needed to do something else. And I don't think I was special that way because fortunately and unfortunately, everybody gets there.
Yeah.
And for women is a huge challenge because we want to be best mothers, best wives, best, managers, best
Yes.
everything. And it's really hard to let go of any of these roles. And that challenge is really overwhelming. And it's really hard to choose. Many of us actually prefer not to really look deeply into it and just
Yeah.
pretend, it's a crisis, it's gonna pass.
Yeah.
But you know what? As much as it hurts, it's actually a blessing because that is, for you the chance to build yourself again.
What of
This is the
stability?
chance. But probably, that's probably the challenge because
Yeah.
stability comes with something that you know.
Yes.
And at some point, nobody wants to give up everything that they've built for like 20 years to
Yeah.
trade for something they have no idea what it's going to be.
Exactly.
Yeah. But then let me give you this. If you think that staying where you are is going to make you happier, that's a big problem right there. It's a big problem right there because you know what? Every day you're going to live as the person you're not is going to cost you.
Oh.
And it's going to cost you dearly and eventually can even get you sick and everything. And you at least need to give it a try. And this is where it came in my life to changing careers because I always liked people and I felt like I can connect with them and I can feel them beyond of what they're saying and their story that they tell me. And I had this, urge of supporting them. I knew that obviously I do not hold, the absolute truth,
Yeah.
but the things that I know, I could share and I could help. And I went back to school while I was still employed, having 2 kids, full-time job and everything, right? And I did my coaching training, which was a delight. I loved it. I completely loved it because it was finally something that I wanted, And women usually think of that as a hobby. But you know what? It can be your second career. If you feel your passion is there, if you find the energy at the end of a day at work and with the kids and everything, if you feel you have the energy to go and read about something you like and is this, well, this is not work. Think of doing that the whole day. This is your next career.
But
right?
It's risky though. Like
it is risky. I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
Everything is risky. You know what? You have a job. It's risky too. Next morning, you can go to work and somebody tells you have no job. Was that risky or not?
Yeah. It's not permanent. It's not stable.
No.
Things can happen.
All the time. Look at us today. The whole world is changing. Whole industries disappear overnight. Was that risky or not?
Yeah.
Everything is risky. There's no guarantee in the world. But I can tell you one thing. If you find in yourself the passion and the motivation, the determination to make it happen, that nobody can take away from you. That's why it's actually worth giving it a try. And I don't think it's for everybody, because some of us have different dreams, obviously. But for those, that always felt like, I want to do something on my own. This is because you're called to do it. And I think everything, is stuck against you because we are educated not to try.
The fear of failure. Yeah.
Fear of failure. Now, thank you for bringing this up, because failure is another blessing. Now think of this. You have a young baby, and the baby came to the time that, they're taking the first step. The baby fell many times before, right?
And cried all
they
the
tried,
while.
Never. Yeah, fail. Did you ever blame the baby for not walking?
No. Who does
Never. Exactly. Who does that? You got it. But then, the baby takes the first step, and then obviously he or she falls. But it's like, yay! All you see is that they took the step. You do not see the failure in that. But now think about it. We are still babies in everything we try for the first time.
Yes.
Why would you have to succeed the first time you tried?
Okay, that's a different way of thinking. It's a very
different way of
thinking.
It's a very challenging way because I think we are educated to penalize ourselves and to judge ourselves for things that are not natural.
Yeah.
And in building a business and in your career, in everything you do, you need to allow for failure, because without failure, you cannot be successful. And I'll give you an example, practical example. And this is about a job. It's not even about being an entrepreneur. I was doing forecasting in this big company. And I developed a new model. Okay. And you know what? My accuracy was like amazing. The first time I did it, bang, it was like 90-something% accuracy, which was like unheard of. Everybody was happy, bonuses and all that. And I was freaking out. You don't understand how risky this is, because make me do it again. I did not fail enough to tell you what the problems could be.
Yes.
I don't know what can happen. Yeah. I did not fail before. I haven't tried it for size. You know what I mean? It just fit the first thing I put it on, and that's it. But do you understand how problematic this can be?
Not only expectations too high, like.
Even if the expectation is not high, like, okay, now do it again. What if you do the same thing and you don't get the same result?
Yeah.
You don't know how to do it. You don't know what can happen to you and how to, provision for that not to happen. That's why failure is essential. You need to go through a number of iterations, and they need to fail for you to understand exactly what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So that's a very important thing, especially when you start something new, to understand that you need to know your craft. You cannot just get it right all the time.
Yes.
And the first trial is essential for you to see how it cannot work, and to make sure that next time when you plan it, right?
Yeah. It reminds me of this, I think Samuel Beckett quote that try again, fail better. Something of that sort.
Oh, I love that guy.
Yes. Makes sense.
Yeah, and then on the flip side, there's another thing that we do not know. We don't know how to win. No. We don't know how to win. And I know this sounds awkward. Yeah. Like, what do you mean we don't know? Okay, I'm going to tell you what. Yeah. Like even in school, you get a bad grade. All you know is, no shame, guilt, everything, right?
Yes, yes.
You get a good grade, yeah, it's normal. It's the default. You're supposed to.
Yeah.
Anybody celebrating for 3 days? No, but when you get a bad grade, you cry for 3 days, and it's the same in our jobs.
Yeah.
The thing is that all that energy, crying and blaming yourself and everything is going to take away from you, but you don't know how to replenish. And the point is that you need to understand that every small win, it could be anything. Your muffins came right today. Excellent, celebrate, right? Because when you burn them, you're gonna cry. You're gonna blame yourself that you were not good enough in the kitchen. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Why
Yeah.
don't you do the opposite? And the thing is that we need to learn that. When you
Oh.
start a business, you need that energy going because you need to have your tank, the gas up every day you wake up and you
Yeah.
start working. And for that, you need to learn how to do it because we are not educated to do that. And this is the mindset. We're talking mindset here already. You see,
Yeah. Yeah.
failure, and then how to win. All
Yeah.
that is the mindset. These are things that you need to learn how to work with yourself. And mind you, they apply to everything, but it's essential to know how to work with them in business because they can keep you going. If you do not do this, guaranteed the day is gonna come when you don't feel like going ahead.
Okay. Okay. Now I have a question. So let's
Yes.
say you've been in this you've had a job for several years, and then let's say you have a passion for something else. Let's say a passion for cooking, and you want to do a
Yes.
cookbook or a cooking membership. Do
Yes.
you have to go all in, or can you still stay in your job and
Of
slowly
course.
transition?
Absolutely. I think, everybody is unique. And I think we need to account for that. There's no universal recipe.
Yeah.
And I think everybody knows exactly what they want to do. And everybody knows exactly how fed up they feel at the time. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you just cannot take this anymore. You want to live like I did.
Yeah.
And that's it. I don't want to hear about this anymore. And I'm going to, throw myself into this. But it doesn't have to be that way. It does not have to be that way. And also, this is very interesting. When you pick the type of business you want to go in, it's both a factor of who you are and what's out there.
Okay.
And there are many things that you need to look into, like your values, even the ones that you're not aware of. Sometimes we do not want to admit that we like something, but it's in the back of our heads. And there are ways. This is actually the first thing I do with my clients. I test for
Okay.
exactly what to be the best fit for them right now.
Okay.
And then it's going to be, your own values, and it's going to be what you're good at and your formal and informal training. It could be
Okay.
something that you always liked. And like you said, is baking. You don't go to school necessarily for baking, but you could be amazing,
Yes.
right? And it could be also something that's very important for your type of personality. Because if you are not an extrovert, you are not going to be good for the one-on-one coaching or coaching to big groups. And
Yeah.
then for you need to look more into the membership type of club or even writing a book, like you said. But it's not, and all these are important because if you go into the wrong side of the business, even if it's the perfect one for you, you are
Yeah.
not going to be able to sustain.
Oh. That's
So
the
see,
first
even
time I've
like
had that advice.
yeah, but it's I find, you know why? Because everybody is here on earth to share with the others. We all have a special gift, and we just need to know how to create the perfect way to be able to share. Because
Yeah.
all these things, if you don't do them right from the beginning, they're gonna stop you in your tracks, and it's so sad. People need you. People need what you have to offer. So
Oh.
that's exactly why what I do, I deal with that, sweet spot when people are not, they're in between,
Yeah.
and I make sure that the first steps are really very clearly well done.
Yeah.
So whatever you do after that, the foundation is solid,
Yeah.
because most small businesses fail because those first steps are not properly done. And that is the first, and the key word is clarity. You really need to be very clear about what you're doing. And you might be, that happens many times. You're pulled into different directions. You have many hobbies, let's say. You don't know
Yes.
which one to choose. That's fine. You know what? It's going to feel like a sacrifice going with only one at a time.
Yeah.
But as long as you plan, because that's another thing that I do. I do even a draft if you want, but we need to have a business plan. And the first 6 months I'm going to do this, then I'm going to add this, I'm going to expand into this, and I'm going to hit these numbers to be able to go there. And when you know that that is coming, you don't feel as frustrated. You know that you're working towards that. But you need focus, and at the beginning you need to be very, very clear about what you're doing. And that is first like choosing the market, and that like I told you, is really knowing what fits you at this point in your life. And again, be open to the idea that this is going to change, because we all change, we grow up, market changes. Okay, but now this is what's best for you. And it's good to understand the technology of choosing your best market, because you're going to do it again. So this is like step number 0, if you want,
The clarity is step number 1.
The clarity applies all across, but the first step, like action, is choosing your market, your niche, exactly what you want to do. Then the second one is understanding who your ideal client is. Okay. So your ideal client, and that's going to be, it's not what you think. Like it could be something, but you are going to discover talking to them.
Okay.
You are not going to make assumptions about your market. And also, and the next one is offer, and they kind of go hand in hand. But you need to be very, very clear about who that ideal person is. You can even like draw the person. You can write exactly, they like, I don't know, oatmeal for breakfast, That's my ideal client. And you know what? I'm going to tell you why that is important. Let's say, I know it's a funny example. Like my clients are people who like oatmeal in the morning. You know exactly, if you know them, if you know that this is your ideal client, you're going to know exactly where to find them. You're going to find the club of where all those people who like oatmeal in the morning gather. That's your ideal client. It clarifies so much. Like it removes all, the noise in your market research after that, because you know exactly where to go, and that group that you're meeting, it's all ideal clients. And it's a lot better to have 100 ideal clients than 1,000,000 clients that are called leads, if you want.
Okay. Can I ask the question now? I guess this might be a basic question for some people. So using the example of likes oatmeal for breakfast, so you probably have a good idea that it's a woman, a man at this age, they're based in this location. All those. Now,
absolutely.
The likes and dislikes, like the personal likes and dislikes, likes movies, likes jazz. Are those really important compared to like the demographics and the psychographics? Is that really important?
I think they are all important. And I cannot say which one is more important, because it could be if you are selling, jazz songs to play, that's going to be more important than the demographics. But if you are selling, I don't know, something else, demographics could, weigh more in. But all of them are going to be accounted for. Like when I work with my clients, we go through everything, every little one, even the ones that are not even relevant. Put it there and we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it is, maybe it is not. You just don't know, because again, like things come up in the process. And the better you refine it, the better, like it's so much easier to take the next step, because that brings clarity. Like I said, it's not fuzzy. Like, I don't even know, like, look how many people around me, which one is my ideal client? You know exactly which one,
Okay. That makes sense. My second question was this. You had mentioned, like during the example of the baking, you had mentioned that if you're an introvert, the membership might be better for you. If you're an extrovert, a group or a more one-on-one high energy thing might work for you. Yeah. So that's not something that anybody ever talks about, though. Like, I'm hearing for the first time right now from you.
Okay, I'm happy to break the news.
Because typically it's more like let's say you're the general overview right now is cooking or baking, and you can start thinking that I could. One revenue source might be cookbooks. One revenue source might be courses. One revenue source might be a virtual cookout or something, and there's no accounting for your personality in it. It's just different income sources. Wouldn't an introvert feel left out? Not left out. That you're leaving money on the table if I leave the coaching and focus on the membership and stay in my comfort zone, wouldn't you feel like you're missing some more potential income stream?
That's one way to think about it, but I honestly don't think any introvert is going to feel that way because they feel relieved. Because when you do what really fits you naturally, you pour all your heart and soul in that, and you can grow that membership to be so profitable for you. And you
Okay.
can do it the best because extroverts actually have a hard time working in more isolation if you want, and it's going to be really hard to perform building a membership club or just writing books, up on a mountain top, It's
Okay.
just like, I am telling you, I would die. Don't make me do that because I can't, yeah, but for somebody else, they could write like three books in like 3 months, and they could be bestsellers, like do because for you just have to go with what's best for you. When you
Okay.
find your niche, you are going to be the best, and you are going to really do everything it takes, because any business can be good if you are right fit.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can do other things, like, mind you, if you start your business and then you're growing that much, you can hire other people to do the stuff that you are not as good for.
Okay.
It
Okay.
doesn't mean you're stuck with it.
Okay.
It means that your core focus
Yeah.
is on this, and that's
Okay.
what you take
Okay.
care of.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so still on the mindset now. So you talked about if it's a good fit for you. You talked about your offering, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So can we
The
expand a
offer,
bit?
actually.
Yeah, yeah, your
Yes,
offer.
I wanted actually to go back to the offer, because we talked about the niche, we talked about your
Yes,
ideal client,
yes,
and now it's the offer. And the
yeah.
offer, do not make assumptions. Even if you think you know for sure, pretend that you know nothing. You like, first day on the earth, and you're looking around and just observing. You have no idea what's going on. What you do, you go and ask, what do you want? Pretend you know nothing. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. And
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what,
Okay.
the classical way to approach it is to go to your ideal client, that you know who that is. And to pick a few of them. There's a number, like ideally you need at least 15 when you just start, and you do interviews with them, and you ask them, and we have those questions, and it depends on the market too, obviously, and you leave them open-ended, and you let people talk. And I'm
Okay.
going to tell you why this is so important, because they are going to tell you what hurts, what they want, what's urgent for them in their own words. And then you are going to understand, like, you put them together and you see patterns. You see, people cannot sleep at night because this is one big issue on their mind. You understand?
Yeah.
And then that's going to be what I'm offering them.
Okay.
Let them tell you what they need. And when you talk to them, because this is the offer, you talk in their own words. If they hear what they told you, if they hear, okay, wow, she's living in my mind, she really knows how I feel and how I think,
Yeah.
obviously this is the person I want to work with.
Okay. Um. Okay. A question so far. Just to add on that. So let's say you said you don't make any assumptions on your offering. Let them tell you what their problems is, and then based on that choose the offering. So let's say I have a random 15 people, and I want to hear what their problem is, so I can know what my offering to them would be. So if out of this 15 I get like 4 or 5 different possible solutions, do I immediately jump in on all 4 or 5?
No, you're going to pick one, but then you need to have, a big enough sample of people to have a consistent trend. And
Okay.
you can start, like, one very basic approach is to just ask a question. If we go back to our, silly example with the oatmeal in the morning, go to the oatmeal in the morning club and ask everybody, what are your top 2 concerns when it comes to eating oatmeal in the morning? And they're going to tell you different things. And,
Yeah.
you could see a trend like, I don't know how to cook it fast, or I don't know how to make it flavorful, whatever. And then you take that one and you make, a product. Your offer is going to be that.
Okay. Okay. Um. Typically, wouldn't the products fall under maybe a book, a course, a virtual product, maybe a course, a book, a template, something, or it could be like a coaching, it could be a membership. Typically, to fall under that subcategory, right?
Well, it depends on everybody. It could even be physical products.
Yeah.
You just don't, everybody has a different skill. You know,
Yeah.
I just read about a lady who made $250,000 selling actually a 9-hour course about how to dip apples in caramel.
What?
I know. She made a quarter
Are you
of a
kidding me?
million. I'm not kidding you.
How to dip apples
Like,
in caramel?
yes, because you know, and I apparently I never tried, but apparently you know people who want to do that and they would see that the caramel is falling off the apple. They have
Yeah.
different issues. They did not know how to do it right. 9 hours about how to do that. She
Jesus.
made a quarter of a million.
Good for
So
her. Oh
good
my
for
god.
her. And that's exactly. So what I'm saying is that do not think that what you're offering, if it's not mainstream, is not going to be successful. It's what people need.
Yes,
And
yes,
now
yes.
we're actually living a time when the world is changing so much. People change needs. We are going to see a different shift, a different dynamic in the market. And we really need to listen because we don't know anything about this new market. And now is the time to go and listen and let them tell us what they need.
Okay, okay. Ignorant question coming now. So
That doesn't exist. Go ahead.
it's mine. You don't have the question yet. Okay, so these 15, 20 people, where am I finding them to randomly ask them about their problems without coming across as a creep? Like, hi, what
You
problems
know,
do you have?
yeah, it's the oatmeal in the morning club. Like I said, once you know
Yeah.
exactly who your ideal customer is, you're going to know where they hang out. If you're online, well, there are many places. This is a whole, you know, session
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
yeah,
But let's say
yeah.
you go on Facebook and you look for groups where those people gather,
Okay.
and there is your, you know.
Okay, I guess that
Or
makes
if you
sense.
work with moms, that would be, you know, I don't know, wherever they gather
Yeah, I
online, or
guess.
for sure. But you know, could be a local, forum or something.
Yeah, 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 that makes sense. Problem is you just presenting yourself randomly, just asking them, hi, what problem do you have?
You know what? It doesn't go like that. And again, there's a way to introduce. It's a sequence of messages. It's
Yeah.
like you have to build relationships. It doesn't work like that. It's like, oh, you're a weirdo. Go away. Like I don't know you. You know, run. You don't want to do that.
That was my
Right?
concern. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
back
Of
away
course, you
from
don't
me.
go like that. No, 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 no. And like we build a sequence of steps, and it's all. But it has to be natural. It has to be you. But the idea is that you build relationships, and of course, it's not for free. You are going to offer them something in exchange, usually.
Yeah. Makes sense. That makes sense. So
But
after
that
the
research is amazing. Like if you do not do that, it's very risky. You
yeah,
might run into big problems because you're not offering what they really need.
yeah. So you've seen that what's your offer, at least your assumed offer, and you think they would like, but not always be like the actual solution they want.
Well, it depends. So you're talking about the freebie, or like you're
Like
talking about
let's
the
say
interviews, what you're giving
yes,
them in
yeah, the
exchange?
interviews, yeah. So like let's say let's use the caramel lady with the apple and sauce. So like apparently people like learn how to dip apples into caramels. So like if so I'm not sure if that was her first idea that this is what they want, but
I don't know the background. Yeah.
yeah. So like let's just use a different example. Let's say I'm a baker and I want to teach
Yes.
people how to make I don't know, gingerbread man or something. Okay,
There you go.
so
Okay.
yeah, so now what I assume they want to learn to bake might not be what exactly they want to learn to bake, right?
You ask them, how can I help you? How can I support you? Is there one thing I can do for you?
Yeah.
And they're going to tell you, because if you are a good baker, you might give them tips on, of
Yeah,
every
yeah, yeah. So
kind. And everybody could be different.
if I don't ask them and I just assume that they want to learn how to make gingerbread man, um, does that mean I will not be profitable or I will not be as profitable as I could be?
Yes.
Okay.
Could be both, actually. For sure, you're not going to be as profitable as you could be, but it's not about that. It's well, yeah, it ties into profits, but it's very risky because if your need is here and you're offering here,
Yeah,
there's nobody to catch. You just want to make sure that there's somebody there to catch what you have, right?
yeah,
It could be that you are a good fit. It's for sure you're not going to make as much money, because first of all, you don't know how they talk about their problem. So even for them to be able to hear you out, they need to hear their words. They need to feel you, to feel that you are on the same wavelength, that you are with them. And if you did not listen to how they speak about their problem, you don't know how to describe your offer. And then it's a disconnect, because they don't hear you. Like, there's so much information around. We tend to, reject because it's too much, it's overwhelmed at this point. So then for them to take out of their time and actually listen to you, it has to be catchy. To catch their attention, you need to speak their language.
Okay.
So even if you do not have, the perfect offer, you still need to know how to speak to them.
Okay. You do have to communicate your products in a way that sort of resonates with them and matches their wording, their feeling, and all of that.
Absolutely. Okay. You're going to build, that's a different, it's marketing that's coming after. But these, steps that are fundamental, and people tend to just skip this legwork at the beginning, and it's something that we really have to do. It's a must do.
Okay. So after the niche, after knowing what's a good fit for
ideal client,
yes, and then the offer. Then what's the next step?
Well, there could be many things, by the way,
Oh my God.
But yeah. Well, there are many things to do, but I'm telling you what I usually do in the 100 days, launch program. So after I do that, I develop, of course, the content of the offer, and after that is the message. And this is not only how you talk to them. It's also like, if somebody asks you what you do, you need to be able to say that and be relevant in 10 seconds, maximum 15, but it's usually 10 seconds. If you missed to make them understand what you do within 10 seconds, you're not clear about what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing.
Okay.
Like right now, if you ask me, and I'm going to be very, concise when it comes to this, what I do, I help women stuck in corporate jobs they hate become coaches and consultants. Clear, right? And then again, I could attract many other people. It's not that I only do this, right? But people know exactly what I'm doing. When I said that, there's no confusion, right? And that's exactly what you need to do. Like, if you are an accountant, I help people do their taxes pain-free in 7 days and save I don't know how much,
Okay.
Like, be very specific. So that would be your hot hook. This is what we call that in marketing. And your message. And then also pick, those words, like the keywords that are very important for your market and the way you talk to them. And then it would be the business planning, the part that I love, the numbers. Here we come.
Yay!
And this is very important, because it's going to be also going back to mindset. It is business, but it's also a very good support, because you know exactly what to do every day. When we do that, we make a plan for even 5 years if you want. We do 3, we do 1, we do 6 months, and we do every day. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, you know exactly what you have to do. And this is a relief.
Yes.
Because many people are just lost at the beginning. They don't know what to do, where to start. And that's daunting. At some point, this is so much that you just quit. So that planning is very, very important. And you also need to know your milestones. So I need to hit this by the time I get there. And if I did not, I need to have a plan in place to know what did not work well, go back and change that, So I find this is a very important step. We do that. And again, this is the business plan, and also the weekly and daily schedules. And then it's also the communication. So like you said, okay, I go, hi, do you want to do this interview with me? How about that? So then what we do, we actually build the talk sequence, if you want. And that's going to be your marketing, not only for the interviews. That's the first step. By now they would have been done. But then how you actually approach your prospect. And you actually edit, and that's copywriting, and you do your job. You know exactly how to make them know you. They have to know you, they have to trust you, and they have to like you. These are 3 things that you have to have if somebody is going to be a prospect. If they don't go through the 3 stages right here, they'll never buy from you.
Yeah.
So this sequence is meant to actually lead you into that type of position when they trust you and they are going to listen to your offer.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's your mindset, but it's their mindset as well.
Yeah. I think
And then we're doing this.
someone once said that your business is not about you; it's about them.
Exactly, it's all about them. It is all about them, because if you do not meet a real demand and what they really want from you, you're not relevant. You're just, you can go paint in your house and nobody knows. If you want to serve others, you have to listen to others. Put your, park your ego to the side and listen to what they want.
Yeah, that cannot be easy to like. I'm realizing that it's not about you. Your ideas are great, but just put it on one side and let's hear their ideas, their opinions, their feedback, and then work on that instead of what you thought you would go, direction you would go, or the tasks you were quite excited about. Turns out they did not give a crap about it.
Yeah, but if you're relaxed enough and you're creative.
Oh my god.
Somebody's with us.
No. Google Assistant.
Oh, Google Assistant, I know.
me
They get
Catholic
triggered.
quotes.
At some point, they just assist you when you don't need.
Here is some information for famous Catholic.
Oh.
How do I remove this thing? Like,
Not to
shut up.
your spouse and God.
Oh my god.
That was funny. That was funny. Okay. So, the idea is that they need to hear you out.
Yeah.
Okay. So we went back to that, you structure your communication with them, and you need to connect, and you have to get to the place where, you can actually have a conversation.
Sure.
And we work that sequence, and we actually nourish our relationships with our prospects. And then when they are ready, we are going to have the sales conversation, and we draft that, and we think of what should go in and how you do that, and you practice that, and you know how to sell. And then also many people are going to say, I'm not buying because there are main objections that everybody has. And we go through that, and we develop strategies of how to, navigate around those objections.
Yeah.
And then is the big part for me, because it links back to yourself and to mindset and personal growth if you want.
Yeah.
But it is more about, because you are a one-man show when it comes to that. And you need to be in the best shape of your life every single day if you want to achieve your goals. Number one, how to set goals.
Really?
And it's not what you think. It's not what you think. And then it's not just, I want to do this. It's a lot more than this.
Yeah.
And then it's what really motivates you. What's the engine? And that's different for everybody. And it goes into emotional, because when you don't feel like doing that, it's because you don't feel, not because you don't want. You understand the difference?
Yeah.
You want, but you just can't.
Yeah.
It's just like, that morning at 5 when, the alarm goes off and you need to go to the gym, and you say, and you snooze it, and you turn and you sleep for another 2 hours. I don't want to go to the gym. I want to sleep.
Yeah.
So now we are going to find exactly what you need to work with inside and what you need to bring out, so that when that alarm goes off at 5, like, yay, I'm going to the gym.
It's a new day. Come at me.
There you go. Yeah. and also we work with our emotional landscape inside to make sure that we have reminders all the time and everywhere of what we want to do in life, why we're doing what we're doing. Because you did not leave, a corporate job to become the slave of another thing you don't like.
Yes.
So what you want to remind yourself how good it is, and how to actually, work with everything you have, is all your resources, which is physical, mental, and emotional, to get there, to support you. You build your own support system so that you can actually go through the business plan and execute it. It's very important. And then it's also every day. And you need to know when, because psychologically there is a point when you're not going to want to go ahead anymore. And you need to know what that looks like, to recognize it, understand it's just going to pass, know exactly what to do when that happens, So you need to put all these in place before you even start. So that, and the motivation. And then also, because this is business, we work with money blocks and mental blocks. And because you can do everything perfectly but there is one, stubborn belief in your head that doesn't let you earn money.
Oh.
So it's good to know what that is and to, take it out.
Oh.
That's pretty much what we do in my program for, 100 days and less.
Yeah, you do a lot in 100 days. Like, wow.
It's a lot. That's one of my fears, because some people are not going to be able to do it in 100 days.
Yeah.
And my goal is to do it in 100 days. On the other hand, I do not want to rush anybody.
Yes. Yeah.
If on the way they decide this is too much for me, I want to take it slower, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely good with that,
Yeah.
It's up to everyone, because like I said, we are unique, we are different, we have different situations.
Some people work faster, and some kind of take things at a much slower pace.
Yeah, and then some people, get the business part faster, and the other one needs more time, or the opposite. Yeah. So I always go with whatever they need, because like I said, I listen, and I have to respect it's their world. It's not me.
Yes.
They need to do the work. So I'm here to support them. Whatever that is, right? It's not, I'm not.
Something just stuck out to me now. You said they need to do the work. So like when this conversation, this business plan, the goals and the milestones, they are the one making it, or you are the one making it? Which one?
I'm not making anybody's business plan. We do it together. But personal growth is going to be on their own. And I can tell you something. You don't want anybody to do your business plan. That's your baby. You want to do what you want to do. That's why you left the job, because you wanted to do what you wanted to do. You want to be your own boss. You don't want anybody to give you, right?
Yes.
But you have a very good point. The thing is that we need accountability.
Yes.
Support and accountability. And that I do. And also, where people are missing the business skills, we work on this together. I make sure that they understand every concept and they feel good about it. Because after we do every step, we complete every step, I give them 2 days to sit with it and feel like, do I feel this is okay or not? Yeah. They need time, to make friends with it. Maybe something is not feeling right. Come back. We're going to make it, so that it is yours 100%, because it is your business. That's why textbooks, textbooks are not, they're good as a guide, but when you get into the real world, it doesn't look the same. It has to be you. And you need to be represented. You need to feel authentic. And like you said, the work they do. Yes, I'm going to give you a good example. Mm-hmm. Like we all subscribe to different services, and everybody offers us, the moon in the sky. But when that email comes in, some of them, they really feel off. Like yucky, like they don't like it. It feels like it's a robot at the other end. Others, they do feel like they're talking bland. Yeah, but and you know what? You need to be yourself when you write that email. It has to come from you, and it needs to be authentic, even if it's not, the perfect copywriting. It doesn't matter, because some people are going to feel you, and that's your ideal client, and that's the person you want to touch, and they're going to come like you, trust you, and buy from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why, it's very important that you are fully invested in what you're doing. But I provide full support. Like I make sure that at the end of our work together, you have all these steps covered.
Okay. So for anyone listening, how do they join the 100-day program? How does that work? Like where do I find it? Or at least find more information about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there are 2 ways. You can go and read quickly on my website, which is www.irinabuse.com, irinabuse.com. And on the same website, they can actually book a session with me, and we can talk about it. There's, a free introductory session, and we can go through that. And there are many things that I offer. And again, like I have to respect everybody's needs. Maybe they don't need half of the program. Maybe they need something else, but we need to talk about it.
Yes.
Everybody's different, like I said. Maybe some people, they already started and they have some pieces already in the right spot, but they don't know how to combine them. Something is missing. Something needs to be revised. Maybe some of them just need to reshuffle everything because it doesn't look right in the new context.
Yeah.
Like, again, I cannot judge. Everybody's different.
Yeah. Has there been a scenario, at least based on your experience, where somebody came in for this introductory session, having one idea about what their business is and what direction they want to go, then they met you and were like, whoa, okay,
you can actually make your ideas work. You can make your ideas work. Like it's incredible. We have so many things, like, let's say you're an accountant and you like baking. And you say, how do they go together? You know, like I like this and whatever. But you know what? You can be a perfect accountant for people who like baking. And you are going to connect on a different wavelength to those, you know. Everybody needs an accountant.
An
But
accountant
they're
for
going to
bakers.
listen to you. Yeah, because you share part of the story is common. Like, I feel you're like me. And you know what? You come, I'll give you my business, right? Like accountant. Just be creative.
I think like the likes you had mentioned earlier, that just came in. Yeah.
There you go.
I just got it.
Oh yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got it. Like now, like your audience likes baking. You like baking, you're an accountant.
Yes.
You're like, hi, I'm an accountant.
Exactly. That's how
but
you connect. And you know what? That makes actually marketing so much more flavorful, because you can, everything you market, it goes with that on that, you know, side of baking, and you like the way you do muffins and whatever, you know. It's like you can do so many things. Just be creative, and people like stuff like this.
Yeah. And it's I can just imagine how interesting that email would be for your audience right now. Like,
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? And you didn't fabricate anything. It's you.
Yes.
You see how you need to be yourself to really catch people like you.
Yes. I just got that.
There are so many ways to combine what you know and how to do it. It's amazing.
It is. Like
we get stuck, in the classical way to do things, but we can, get out of the box, have fun. It's your business.
Oh my God. We combined accounting with baking and it made sense.
Yes. Who would have said, right?
I know. It actually makes sense. Whoa. Oh my God.
Now it makes sense, you see. And that's what they discover. Like working with me, they understand that, there are way fewer obstacles than they thought. And that's the mindset. That's why I'm a mindset coach, because a mindset coach, first what they do, they just open doors for people to see opportunities where they thought they were stuck.
Yeah. Are there any misconceptions about mindset coaching? Like, like me, for you, it's very clear what a mindset coach is. For like a client or a prospect, are there ideas they have about what mindset coaching is that might not necessarily be true?
Okay, you know what? I'm just going mindset. I don't know what people can think of. I think most of them they don't know what it is. No. Before they even assume, they have no idea. Well, they probably think working with the mind, which is correct, But I can give you the short for that. So to make it clear, my definition. This is the way you make you make life, instead of happening to you, happening for you. So what you do, you change everything, like you believe and the way you feel about life and all that setting, inside, so that you don't feel like a victim, like you have to react to life happening to you. You make it work for you, because life happens anyways. Now it's the way you take it. And that's what the mindset does.
Yeah,
exactly. So there's no point in fighting back. The point is to use it so that it works for you. That's what the right mindset does.
And in this 100-day program, as I'm finding my niche and I'm finding what I like, it's something that it's a long-term thing, not something that after like a few years I'll just go, I'm tired of this.
Of course, actually could be 1 year, and it doesn't matter. You can add one product in like probably 6 to 8 months if you're really good with the cash flow.
Is there any way? How do I phrase this question?
You can reapply the same thing every time you start something new. You just do the same thing. Once you learn how to do it, you know how to do it, and you do it for different markets, different products.
Okay. And in the 100 days plan, as you're working with them to find a passion for their business that is more long term, like a more long term business based on their passion, right?
You know what, that we're going to test the market, because for a market to be a good investment for you, like to be, worth going into, it needs to check for like 5 criteria. And if it's something that does not check at least 4, you should maybe pick another hobby.
Good. There's so much going into this.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But you know what I like? I like because I was there when I left the corporate world. I was so lost. I just didn't know where to start and what to do. And it's very sad because many people feel like, you know, they want to do something and they just don't do it because they don't know, like I said, where to start. But you see, for us talking now, there's so much that you see now. Okay, I know exactly what to do, and you feel motivated to do it. It's clear, and that's what people need. They need to know what to do tomorrow morning. They wake up and do what. And I am there with them to build, like in this 100 days, we also build, you know, the habit of how you are an entrepreneur.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like the 100-day habits.
Yeah, pretty much. Learn how to be an entrepreneur too, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I know I've asked so many questions and I've interrupted so many times. Is there anything else you've forgotten? Anything else you want to add?
Well, you know what? Like I said, I could speak for like 2 weeks. I'm so passionate about what I do. I would love to have, you know, people come and talk to me and see how we can start working together. I'm going to tell you one good reason why.
Yeah.
The world today is full of conflict, I find. And there's a huge need for us as women to come and bring feminine values to the table, because as opposed to what we've seen in business so far, like competition and fighting and all that stuff and conflict, you know, I think it's really time for us to step up and bring what we have to offer, which is more cooperation, you know, and it's that type of like soft skills, and we are needed. This is not a time to say, maybe I don't want to do it. I think the world needs us as women
Yeah.
right now. So I would encourage anybody who has, you know, the faintest, you know, urge to go actually and start something. Come talk to me.
Yeah. Talk to her.
I'll support you. Yes,
Yeah. So that's www.irinabuse.com. Right.
that's it.
Yeah.
IRINABUSE.com. Yeah.
Nice having you. You learned
Oh,
a
thank you
lot.
so
I've
much. That
learned
was
a lot.
fun.
It
That
was.
was good.
Oh, yes. Thanks a
Thank
lot
you
for
so much, Adi.
coming. No, thank
Oh,
you.
yeah,
No,
that
no,
was
honestly,
good.
thank you. This was a very fun interview. This was very
Yeah, we
fun.
can do more. We can work together on so many things. Like again,
Yeah.
we have a mission here, Abby. We need to support these women, you know, go change the world.
Yes.
We can do it too, right? We are
Yeah.
important.
Oh my God.
Everybody is.
Yes.
Excellent.
Okay. Yeah. Recorded.
So yeah, there is one more thing that I wanted to add,
Yeah.
because as a startup, you don't always have the budget. You have, you know, the motivation, but you don't have the finances. So
Yes.
basically my main product is for people who want to go right in right now, and I offer a one-on-one, and we work on every detail together, and we make sure that everything is done. But also some people who cannot afford the whole package, they, you know, they can go in a more affordable formula, and I do small groups, like, let's say maximum of 5, because that way I can pay attention to each and every one of them.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting because the dynamic changes, and the thing is that people see each other, they help each other, they learn from each other's experience too.
Yeah.
So there is this thing that, you know, it's collective and you have to share. On the other hand, is you are not alone, and the way to work with others is amazing. It gives you a different type of boost, and you build relationships, and it's really good. And that would be financially more affordable.
Yeah.
The
Yeah. Yeah.
goal is still to reach the 100 days and to be ready to go, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a different type of work, but I do offer that too. And it's also, I plan to make a course, but that's not as effective because it's missing the, you know, the feedback, the
Yeah. And
interaction.
very
I find
passive as
that's the
compared
main
to like
point.
a coaching. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hey.
that is, yeah, that's what I can offer. I can't wait to see people coming, and we can
Yeah,
talk
I
about that too.
can't wait as well. And for the group coaching is also on the website, right?
Right now I have actually you have to call me for that because I
Oh.
need to make groups.
Oh.
It's on
Oh.
the website.
Yes.
That's how you
Yes.
book me to
Yes.
talk to me. Because
Okay.
it depends
Okay.
on, yeah, it depends on the times, because I have people from all over the world,
Yes.
and I
Yes.
have to
Yes.
coordinate the times. That's why I
Yeah.
cannot offer it online right now.
Mm-hmm.
But once you call me, you know, I know my other bookings, and I
Yeah.
can place it
Then.
where it's convenient for everybody.
Yes. Yes. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
And I also have, you know, different dates when I start a group at a certain date. So I want everybody to be aligned.
Yes. 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 Oh, that makes sense. You have to
But once
factor in
you know,
different things. Yeah.
Yeah. You can, and again, we can talk. We can, WhatsApp, go Skype, Zoom. Usually it's Zoom for me, but
Alright, this is fun. Thanks a lot.
Thank you again, Adi.